2007 has always been a year in gaming that seemingly could not be topped, and arguably still can't. Halo 3, Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare, BioShock, Super Mario Galaxy, and Valve's The Orange Box that bundled together Team Fortress 2, Portal, and Half-Life Episode 2 were all big headliners for the year. But 2007 wasn't done yet. Mass Effect, Assassin's Creed, Uncharted Drake's Fortune, Crysis, and The Witcher all launched in the same year, kickstarting franchises that would define multiple console generations and define the gaming industry in a lot of ways from that point on. Since then, it's been a challenge for any annual drop of new games to even come close to competing with what developers delivered in 2007 until 2023. It was always a safe bet to say that 2023 would be the year that the gaming industry kind of caught up after development turmoil brought on by COVID-19, shifts to remote work, and then in some cases shifts back into office culture, but I don't think anyone understood just how many legitimately great games we'd be getting. January brought Dead Space Remake, a faithful recreation of one of the best sci-fi horror games of all time, along with Tango Gameworks' surprise drop of the fantastic Hi-Fi Rush. Nintendo fans finally got their hands on Metroid Prime Remaster when it released in February, alongside Hogwarts Legacy, which cruised past $1 billion in sales before the summer even started. March brought Resident Evil 4 Remake, followed by Star Wars Jedi Survivor in April, and Bethesda's Redfall in May, along with Nintendo's release of The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. And one of those things is not quite like the other, but it was still a big release. Even this incredible lineup of games in the first half of the year was more like a roller coaster slowly clicking its way up the hill, preparing for this whirlwind of a ride on the way back down. June saw releases of Diablo 4 and Final Fantasy 16. July delivered a major Nintendo release with Pikmin 4 along with AA titles like Exoprimal and Remnant 2. August really saw the year's releases hit full swing with Baldur's Gate 3 and indie darling Sea of Stars. Starfield, Bethesda Game Studios' first new IP in over 25 years, stole the show in September before everyone's attention pivoted to The Lies of P, Mortal Kombat 1, and Cyberpunk 2077 Phantom Liberty. It might technically be a DLC, but it's still big enough to count for a full game in my book. Now that we're in October, all eyes are on Assassin's Creed Mirage, but not for long. Marvel Spider-Man 2 is set to land in 1 week and will almost undoubtedly be another Game of the Year contender, all while Forza Motorsport, Lords of the Fallen, and Alan Wake 2 are all launching within the month. And if you still haven't had enough games for the year, November is set to deliver Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 and a remaster of Super Mario RPG before Ubisoft's Avatar Frontiers of Pandora launches in December. Now you might be thinking, hey, he missed one of my favorite games of the year, and that's exactly the point. So do potentially millions of other players, all because this year is so stacked. The list of games I mentioned doesn't even touch on the launch of PlayStation VR 2, ports to other platforms like Ghostwire Tokyo's Xbox launch after a year of exclusivity on PlayStation, annualized sports releases like Madden and NBA that will sell millions of copies, or huge updates to live service games like Destiny 2 Lightfall or Battlefield 2042's ongoing road to redemption with seasonal updates that try to keep players coming back. All of this is to say that 2023 has been a double-edged sword for gaming. On one hand, there's been a constant flow of high-quality games with at least one true Game of the Year contender landing every single month. On the other hand, it's nearly impossible for the majority of players to find room in their budgets and on their calendars for this year's biggest games, let alone the smaller games. Titles like EA-published Immortals of Avium, Jet Set Radio-inspired Bomb Rush Cyberpunk, and even the indie puzzler Cocoon that just came out all have largely been caught in the shadow of major games dropping too close to their release dates. In fact, Immortals of Avium developer Ascendant Studios was forced to lay off roughly half of their studio after the game launched due to lackluster sales figures. It looks like this winter is going to give players a bit of a breather for big game releases, and plenty of holiday sales will even let players save some money on this year's biggest games. But even so, it's hard not to feel torn when you're looking at the 2023 games roster. Sure, games are larger, prettier, and often pack in more content than ever, but when one game sucks you in, it's hard not to think about what you might be missing in another, and for developers, the bigger concern is that you don't even think about them at all. The release calendar for 2024 is already stacking up, with Persona 3 Reload, Helldivers 2, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, Tekken 8, and Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League all landing in the first 2 months alone. It's hard to tell if next year is going to be as wild as 2023, but if the first 2 months of the year are anything to go off of, it does not look like we'll have time to dig too much into the backlog anytime soon. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit that subscribe button on YouTube and subscribe to the Jampack Report on Substack to get some quick gaming industry thoughts delivered to your inbox each week. And as always, thanks for watching.